My parents are divorced, and because of the custody agreement I am supposed to be at my dad's for every other week. My mom dropped me off outside his house, and I went to the door and the key didn't work. I banged on the door and rang the doorbell and nobody came to the door, the house seemed empty. My phone had died and my mom had left because she was dropping me off in her rush to work. The locks on the doors were new but it was hot as hell out and my dad was supposed to have custody, so I thought it would be fine to come in the window. Like I was supposed to be there. I climbed in the bathroom window that he always leaves open, I slid the screen up carefully and came in without breaking anything. This is my childhood home, I've climbed in that window plenty of times, hell when I was little and playing outside I'd come through the window as a fun shortcut to use the bathroom. I went towards my bedroom and there was some random lady in the hallway who freaked out, she was scared by me being there, and I was like I live here, I'm Mitch's daughter, who the hell are you, and she left the house without saying. I went around the house and my dad was not there. So he got home and he was mad as hell at me for breaking in and scaring a lady he was friends with. Apparently my mom and him had miscommunicated about drop-off time, he was supposed to meet us in the afternoon and give me a copy of the new keys. It was supposed to be after his lady friend had left. And I was like, okay, so it was your mistake and my mom's mistake, why are you mad at me for coming in rather than sitting out in 95-degree heat for who knows how long. And he was just so mad that I acted threatening to his friend that she was scared by me banging on the door and screaming, then suddenly showing up inside the house when she had no idea who I was. I said that if he's having ladies over and they're over a father's house, they better damn well expect a kid around it, they're pretty dumb. Am I the idiot for climbing in the window of my dad's house? Not the idiot. Your dad is for sure though. If I am reading this right, your dad is remarried, and while his new wife was caring for her elderly parents your dad had a lady friend over that appears to have spent the night, is in your dad's clothes, and is coming out of his room. Your dad is pissed that he got caught being a total dirtbag and is taking it out on you. Maybe people have not seen the edit, but if so, a lot of y'all are just gliding over the fact that dad is remarried and this was his side piece. Not the idiot. You're right, this is on your dad and your mom. 95-degree heat is miserable. Why didn't he tell his lady friend to expect you? This was really irresponsible on his part and it sounds like partially your mom's as well, due to miscommunication. I also don't know why his lady friend would have been scared crapless by his daughter, who must be a teenager at best. I feel like she overreacted, but I'm not gonna fault her for anything since it's your dad's fault she had no clue about you. Not the idiot. Your dad is a major idiot for not putting his daughter's needs, who would make a kid sit out in the heat by themselves, above literally anything or anyone else. And yes, he clearly was trying to keep you and his lady friend from knowing about each other, but that's entirely his fault because that's a dumb thing to do. I understand not telling you about her, but the lady friend is an adult and he should have mentioned he has a daughter, especially if he was expecting the daughter to show up on the same day, no matter the time. She and her boyfriend are really loud. If this was during a reasonable hour then I'd be better with it, but this is literally midnight to 3 AM, not for all 3 hours, but starts any time in this window. This keeps me awake when I have to work morning shifts and get to work for 5 AM most days, so I really need to be able to sleep through the night, which she knows, and even with earplugs they still manage to wake me. I tried wearing earplugs, then headphones, neither worked, so I've asked them to keep it down more than once. Last night they were being exceptionally loud, and when I asked them to keep it down, she insisted that I couldn't hear anything. I took out my phone and Bluetooth speaker, put the speaker in a bookshelf that is up against our shared wall, and played whatever songs I could think of to ruin the mood. The songs included, but were not limited to, I Just Made Love and Finest Girl by Lonely Island. Banana Phone. We Should Definitely Not Make Love Right Now from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. Always Look on the Bright Side of Life. And a few others. About half an hour went by, and she leaves her room and pounds on my door telling me to keep it down. The walls are paper thin, so she can hear the music the same way I can hear the moaning. Today at breakfast she said we'll keep it down from now on, you don't have to be such an idiot about it. I thought we'd be able to laugh it off because they were jokey songs that I picked, clearly for a laugh, and I figured she'd see the funny side, but then she said the thing about me not having to be an idiot about it, and now I feel like an idiot. Am I the idiot? I was at my best mate's, and her sister would always have very loud lovemaking whenever my mate had people over. We always banged on the wall, talked to them, etc. The last time it happened I walked in and sat on her desk chair. She started to yell, "Get out, what are you doing," etc. Once she stopped I said, "Seeing as you make sure we can always hear, I thought I'd come watch. It's obvious that you want an audience." When they didn't start up again I said, "Good night then." Not the idiot. But you need to sit down and decide about apartment quiet hours. If your roomie's sleep cycle is different, then you both need to be clear when loud noise, from noisy lovemaking to loud TV to music, isn't okay. I'm something of a night owl, but if I have guests, I turn everything down at 11 p.m. and watch TV in the living room, not the adjacent bedroom. It's about making living together a positive experience because both parties are able to be considerate. No reason your roomie can't make love without being so loud that you can hear it. Not the idiot, and the songs you played are less annoying than the ones I would have chosen. I'd probably pick Every Breath You Take by Police, the Baby Shark song, or religious music. I don't think she has a right to be upset because you ask her nicely to keep it down, so she chose to ignore that, so she gets to suffer the consequences. If she's the kind of person who likes to have loud lovemaking, no judgment here, but when you're in a shared space you don't get to act like it's your own private living space and everything goes. My sister has a largish Instagram following, like 10k followers, and her Instagram mostly talks about veganism, cruelty-free recipes, fashion, stuff like that. I have a little fashion page, it is something I do for fun. We both live with our grandmother. She's 22, I'm 19. My grandmother collects clothes. We have been going through her collection for a couple of hours a day and finding some really cool vintage stuff from the 50s to 80s. Everything is in pristine condition. My sister and I have both asked to have a lot of stuff. My sister is smaller than me, so had an easier time fitting into all of the cool bohemian stuff from the late 1960s. Grandma was in her mid-20s, a lot of the things in my size were 80s jumpsuits, not my thing. I found several pairs of very cool shoes. The most iconic of them all being a pair of white patent leather go-go boots with beautiful beading down the side and some suede thigh highs with a little fringe. I found them first. I knew I could make a killing online selling them, so I rushed to ask my grandmother if I could have them. She initially said yes, but when my sister saw them, she begged to try them on. Of course, they fit her. They didn't fit me. She begged my grandmother to let her have them, and she said that she would think about it. My sister asked me what I was going to do with them, and I told her that I was going to sell them. I could get between $800 to $1,000 for them. She shamed me for trying to sell grandma's stuff. She said that she would actually wear them and take care of them, so she deserved them. I disagreed. I also pointed out that she was vegan, why she would want leather shoes anyway. She said that used stuff and heirlooms don't count. She went off to talk to my grandmother by herself that night. My grandmother ended up giving the shoes to her. My sister got all excited and was trying the shoes on with a bunch of different outfits. I asked her if I could take a picture of some of the outfits, she let me. I posted them to my Instagram, tagged her in the pictures, and mentioned everything she was wearing, including the leather boots. My post happened to get a lot of engagement from her followers, and a lot of them were mad. She ended up losing like 300 followers, and it became kind of a scandal. She got mad at me and caused me of trying to sabotage her for captioning the picture the way I did and being jealous that she got the shoes. She told me to take the picture down. I did. She said that I could cost her or lose sponsors and money. I pointed out the money she cost me by swallowing up for those shoes that I found first. She hasn't lost any more followers and has been doing damage control, but she's still angry at me. I think she's a hypocrite for wearing the shoes in the first place, and I asked her before taking the pictures. But I feel bad about how stressed out she's feeling and the crazy backlash that she's receiving, so am I the idiot for posting them? You're the idiot. Hang on, you tried to sell family heirlooms that your sister wanted to keep, and when you didn't get your way you decided to hatch a plan to ruin her name and get her bullied and harassed online, even though she's technically right and wearing and keeping the boots isn't contributing to the animal product industry because they're vintage hand-me-downs from a family member. Yeah, you're a massive idiot. But the sister like you, who needs enemies? You just pulled a move like some sociopathic meme girl character in a movie. You're the idiot if you didn't ask her to post them first. That's pretty unethical, especially if you know she curates a social media presence. It's also not your place to judge her decisions as a vegan, and you gave her the impression of celebrating her fashion by taking photos and posting them. Sounds vengeful to me if you really did think she was a hypocrite and decided to post them anyway, especially without her consent. If you did ask her and she got mad at you only after losing that many followers, I'd say everyone's the idiot here. You're the idiot. Why on earth would it matter if your sister was somewhat hypocritical? Your grandmother's leather boots are from cows that are extremely dead at this point. I rather doubt the leather donor's great-grandcalves are still alive at this point. Why should you get to sell part of your grandmother's collection? Your grandmother was clearly hoping to pass her passion through the family rather than to some jag-off on eBay. I, 42, moved in with my lovely girlfriend, 28, a few months ago, before this craziness started, and we'd been dating for a year before that. She's an excellent cook and really funny, so life with her has been great, but since this incident she's been snappy at me and lost some of her perkiness and good humor. She always liked to mix fancy drinks in big mason jars to drink around the house. Now mind you, I've actually been a bartender before. Her drinks are not fancy. They're not even drinks. She usually just squeezes a lemon and puts some ice on her water, or she makes green tea and cools it in the fridge with mint or whatever. And the jars usually come from some grocery or the other. She saves jars from bulk peanut butter, bean jars, whatever has a big glass jar she's going to end up saving it to drink from it. Before moving in I'd asked about the jars because I thought it really strange. I mean, she owns normal glasses. Her justification was that the jars are bigger and therefore she doesn't forget to drink water throughout the day. At the time, I kind of assumed this was some weight loss thing she didn't want to actually tell me because she was embarrassed as she's a little bit chubby, so I let it go. But now I've moved in, the jars were annoying me more and more. She doesn't keep every one of them, but she has like 10 in their own shelf, and it seems like such a stupid waste of space in our small kitchen. Besides, we have glasses. She doesn't have to drink from a jar. So earlier this week I was tidying up the kitchen while she slept in, and I just threw them out. I think the kitchen looks much better. We have more storage for pots and she can still prepare her fancy drinks in normal glasses. She was pissed. I never seen her so mad. Her main point were that the jars never bothered anyone and it's none of my business, but now I live here too, so I think it is. During the fight, and this is where I may be the idiot, I mentioned that it's stupid to want special recipients to just drink flavored water. It's not like it's a cocktail, and she's only doing it to lose weight anyway. She went really quiet at that and walked away from me. I gave her time to get over it, but it's been a few days and she's still moping around, and I noticed she doesn't seem excited about her fancy drinks. That's making me feel kind of bad, but I still think I was in the right to throw out her jars as they were just garbage. Should I just bite the bullet and apologize? Am I the idiot? You're the idiot. My gosh, reading this made me sick. You sarcastically and condescendingly talk about something she enjoyed as if it was stupid. Who cares if her fancy drinks, or as you said, fancy drinks, with the quotes exemplifying your sarcasm and belief that your definition of a fancy drink is more correct than hers, are just water and lemon. Why on earth do you care and are so high and mighty to judge? You call her chubby to an internet forum. You throw things away without asking. You're controlling, judgmental, and mean. You're the idiot. You shouldn't have just thrown away her belongings while she was sleeping. That's crappy. You could have discussed maybe getting rid of some, explained the lack of space, etc. Who are you to say what drinks she seems fancy? However, what you could do is go online and buy a big all mason jar. Then buy like a monogram vinyl sticker or something else she likes and customize a jar for her. It can be her fancy drink jar and a good way to apologize. I'm quite shocked how you could possibly not think you are the idiot here. You know it was something she did and liked to do to drink water. She explained herself clearly and was more than willing to let you know that she wasn't just keeping random stuff for the hell of it. Instead, you move in and as soon as you got the chance you tossed them. Then you started to gaslight her about how this is for weight loss instead of a person who just likes water. Pal, I feel like this is a death knell for your relationship. Bite a huge bullet and apologize and hope she doesn't toss you out. Last year I applied for an internal position at my company 3 times and was rejected each time for more qualified external applicants. When I asked what qualified them more than me, I was told experience. Throughout the process I was working hard to do extracurricular things within the company so I would have new standout things to talk about the next time I interviewed. The last time I interviewed, my numbers were all above goal and I thought I had it in the bag. At the start of the interview I was told by the hiring manager that this interview would just be a formality as they have already spoken to a very qualified candidate with over 10 years exp. But they wanted to talk to me anyway, so I could use this as a learning experience or practice interview. I was very disappointed since I had worked very hard to improve myself and was not good enough for them, even after 3 attempts. I decided I was going to stop wasting my time with this and not apply anymore. The position is now open again, and I was approached via Zoom by my boss and one of the bosses over the new position. They said they wanted me to know it was open and wanted me to know I could go ahead and put in my application. I know that when you get tapped on the shoulder like this by management, it means you are probably a top contender for the position. The thing is, I don't think I want it. For a few reasons. 1. A friend of mine in that department told me that no one else has applied. So I feel like they are only approaching me because there is no one else. 2. I'm starting to grow wary of the apparent high turnover of that position. Everyone that gets it leaves. 3. This is terrible, but I'm still a bit bitter about my last interview, which I feel like being just a formality was a waste of my time. I told them I would need some time to think about it, and they seemed shocked, also somewhat disappointed to be honest. I think I might be the idiot because they approached me with a job opening they know I was interested in, and I have basically turned up my nose at it. I asked if they could give me until next Friday to think about it, but I really already know I don't want it. They said they would but seemed annoyed. So, am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Yes, they tapped you up for a job they know you are interested in, but they also rejected you for that job 3 times. Generally, when someone goes for an internal position a few times unsuccessfully, they start looking elsewhere. It often seems easier to progress by hopping through companies. And long gone are the days where people stick in a company for decades progressing up through the ranks. You need to ask yourself, are you really happy there? Have you looked around? Not the idiot. Trust your instincts. If this job has gone through 3 or more people in the span of a year, that is a huge red flag. If no one is applying, red flag number 2, you were told you didn't have enough experience a year ago, but now you suddenly do when no one is applying, number 3 and strike. Your instincts are dead on. Don't be a patsy for this company or give them the ability to say this is why we didn't hire you the last few times and then fire you for it, or you become so overwhelmed you leave. Not the idiot. It sounds like they have a hard time keeping this position filled, and since no one else has applied, consider the possibility that no one has applied because it might be known this particular job at this particular company is not a good one to have. They've already rejected you 3 times, and now it seems they're only asking you because they're settling on you, not because they really want you in the position. Don't feel bad about saying no, and don't feel bad about looking for another job.